This film will give you some advice on writing a grant application and outline the 7 habits of successful grant writers. For the first part, we will give you some tips and tricks to keep in mind when you're preparing a grant application. All applications must be clearly printed or typewritten. This makes it easier to read and photocopy. We also suggest that you forward your application at least 1 week prior to the deadline to allow for any clarification. Take your time to fill out the application form. Ensure that it is completed fully with the appropriate signatures. Complete your application well in advance of the program deadline. Proofread and review all the information you plan to submit. While a flawless grant application may not greatly improve your chances of success, typographical and arithmetical errors can be costly. Errors may be seen as carelessness. A number of standard attachments are required and must accompany the application for each type of grant. Make sure you've included all the documentation and that it is appropriate and up to date. Be brief and detailed in your project descriptions. Provide only the information required. Try to introduce your project description with a 1 or 2 sentence summary, explaining the what, the how, and the why. Use plain language. Your application will be photocopied. If possible, do not include bound material, colored paper, odd-sized pages, or other materials that may not copy well. In your detailed project description, it is helpful when appropriate to include a clear time plan. For this next section, we will look at the 7 habits of successful grant writers. There is a myth within the general art world which claims that anyone could get a grant if given some sort of formula or other such secrets to successful grant writing. Actually, nothing could be further from the truth. There are no secrets and there is no formula. What has proven useful, though, are common sense and the applicant's willingness to put a certain degree of effort into the task, not an unreasonable notion if the public purse is expected to fork out considerable sums of cash. Apart from the fact that their work is of a sufficiently high level of artistic merit to be competitive within the context of the assessment process, successful grant writers developed habits that have proven to work for them. The first is to have a really good reason to seek a grant. Successful grant writers know when a planned project or anticipated activity is fully developed and of significant importance to their artistic development that it should persuade a peer jury to support it. On the other hand, grant requests for projects that are vaguely conceived or represent a 180-degree change from the artist's practice without any explanation are doomed to failure. Also, financial need or quickly approaching deadlines are never a good reason to apply for a grant. The second is to make sure to have the most recent application form and guidelines well in advance of the deadline. Granting agencies are in the habit of constantly adapting or changing program policies, procedures, deadlines, and forms to reflect the needs of the arts community. Since these revisions might require unexpected information or support material, the wise applicant does not procrastinate until the last moment to obtain the necessary documents. Thirdly, successful grant writers read the fine print. Application forms come with pages and pages of text that give directions on how to complete the document. While going through the fine print of bureaucratese can prove painful for free spirits, it is of the utmost importance that grant seekers are aware of the requirements for a complete grant proposal and understand why. For this reason, the successful applicant reads the guidelines carefully at least twice to assure that he or she meets the professional requirements, that the nature of the proposed project falls within the eligibility criteria, the required support material is on hand, and that all the information necessary to fill out a credible budget page has been gathered. Should the grant writer require additional questions, he or she phones the officer responsible for the program for clarification. One more point. Successful applicants always read the guidelines from beginning to end, even if they've applied to the program before and believe that they probably know what is in them. Reading the document more than once is recommended. One of the biggest challenges is to write a clear grant proposal, but it is a crucial skill successful grant writers have mastered. The purpose of the written grant proposal text is to persuade the members of an assessment committee, who might have never heard of the applicant, to get excited about the proposed project and want to support it. With this in mind, they appreciate to know what the grant writer has done in the past, is doing now, and wants to do should the grant be allocated. They are looking for clear, precise language rather than long-winded philosophical essays quoting theoretical issues. Peer juries also have to be able to read the text, no handwriting please, and get frustrated with fonts that are equally difficult to decipher. The last thing a successful applicant wants to do is annoy the assessors. And successful grant writers never claim financial need, ill health, or other misfortunes as reasons for support. As important as writing a clear grant proposal is selecting the support material carefully. Support material is exactly that. It complements and hopefully strengthens the written grant proposal. In the visual arts, including fine craft, the support material consists of visual images in digital format and the curriculum vitae. Successful grant applicants select visual images that include some earlier pieces to show the jury where he or she is coming from and current work that has some relationship to the grant proposal. Here, too, the committee looks for a coherent selection of images that reflect the artist's path of development. Once the images have been decided upon, diligent grant writers preview them by projecting them onto a screen or white wall to assure that they are of the best possible quality in very large format. The curriculum vitae as well is supposed to tell the peer committee about the grant writer's professional development as an artist and must include pertinent information on education, exhibitions, collections, employment relating to the art practice, awards, publications, and so on. 2 to 3 pages are usually sufficient. It is also very valuable to review, verify, and seek advice. Once successful applicants have written the grant proposal, selected the support material, and fully completed the form, they usually give the whole package a careful last going over. They know that spelling mistakes, exaggerated claims on the CV, or strange budgets greatly reduce their credibility. On occasion, applicants ask an objective friend to read through the grant proposal for constructive criticism. Lastly, they check the application package to assure that absolutely everything is included. Finally, mail the application in time. Granting agencies, as a rule, consider applications that are incomplete or received after the competition deadline ineligible. No ifs, buts, or becauses. Successful grant writers know this and mail the whole package several days before the due date. We hope this film has been helpful. Please visit our website at www.artsnb.ca for more information about our programs.